It's all about people who put up a fight. First topic of the day is slavery. The work conditions weren't savory. You worked through the day in the blistering sun of the freezing rain. What you will put through was definitely considered inhumane. Don't ask for a break or even a drink, cause you get whipped out of that second to think. You probably couldn't read and you probably couldn't write, but if you could, it was a rare delight. You were treated like a criminal while hating racism wasn't willing enough to answer the people like a chemical. Slavery left the North and the South indefinitely belimned.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunity.
Along comes Abraham Lincoln screaming, let's abolish slavery. The North behind him, but the South got angry. The South was like, yo, taking away slavery would ruin the South's economy, and you can't do what I can and can't do with my property. The North was like, everyone has a right to equality, and it's even in our nation's policy. The South, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Texas, Arkansas, and Tennessee seceded from the North and formed the Confederacy. They elected a Mississippi resident, Jefferson Davis, to be their first president. It wouldn't be long before war erupted, and the true war would be inducted.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunity.
The Civil War literally tore America asunder. The first shots of the Civil War rang out at Fort Sumter. The first real battle was at Bull Run. The North was retreated by the South and back to Hunts. But in all honesty, no one really won. Confederates surprised the Union at Shiloh. The number of casualties was anything but low. The South got a new general named Robert E. Lee. He renamed his force the Northern Virginia Army. Then comes the bloodiest day, Battle of Antietam. 26,000 men dead, wounded, or gone astray. Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation, which freed all slaves in rebellion states. This many slaves no longer had to work on a rich man's estate. The Battle of Gettysburg was such a mess. The day Lincoln was asked to give a speech called the Gettysburg Address. The Civil War was a tragedy indeed. Let's hope another is never decreed.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunity.
Around 1850, women decided to change the nation, and so they formed the National Women's Suffrage Association. Women are equal to men was their advocation. They fought for the right to vote and to get an education. After 20 years of fight in Wyoming was the first state women could vote in. The WTUL was formed to fight for equal pay. Others fought for women's vote in the National Women's Party. In 1919, Congress passes an amendment, and after all this fighting, women were finally winning. Yet still today, women are slightly unequal. Only difference is the treatment is a little less equal.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the
century after they got freedom, African Americans still weren't equal. Integration of blacks and whites was considered illegal. This was called segregation, acting putting people in separation, but saying that we can be separate yet equal is stupid times infinity. People that decided they were going to take a stand and were greeted with hostility, even when they felt the heat of hate rising like humidity. Somewhat of violence is approached with fraternity in many forms of segregation, bathroom stores, restaurants, and even education, which led to Brown versus Board. Got rid of segregated schools in 1954.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunity.
Yo, listen up, we got a story to tell. It's about a 14-year-old kid named Emmet Till. August 28, 1955, that's the day he lost his life. He was brutally beaten and shot in the head. I mean, this dude was just a kid, he was my age. The emotion in the story ain't something you can't assuage. Apparently in the book of rules, the jury just flipped the page. Cause guess what? They found the two guys who killed him not guilty. And to the guys who killed him, need to wash your hands cause they filthy. I mean, this story's so sick, it makes you wanna hurl. Did I tell you what he did? He flirted with a white girl.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunity.
Rosa Parks, she took a stand by taking a seat. When she was asked to give it up, she said, nah, I got 80 feet. She was threatened with, I'll have you arrested if you don't move to the back. She just smiled and said, you may do that. She was arrested because she peacefully protested. The system back then was sick, and I don't mean congested. And she earned herself the name Mother of Civil Rights, cause when it came to justice, she had a huge appetite. Her arrest led to the Montgomery bus boycott, which would last until what they wanted was what they got.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans are to be afforded equal rights and equal opportunity.
Next up, I'll talk about the man with the dream to rise from darkness and change the U.S. regime. You know what I'm talking about? Martin Luther King. He went for peace, violence wasn't his thing. Even when his house was fire bombed with his wife and kids, Martin kept his calm and never lost his head. He led the Montgomery bus boycott. Talking about this is why they fought. King gave a speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, stating that he had a dream that this nation would rise up to live out the true meaning of its creed.
This nation was founded by men of many nations and backgrounds. It was founded on the principle that all men are created equal, and that the rights of every man are diminished, and the rights of one man are threatened. And it ought to be possible for American citizens to register and to vote, and every American ought to have the right to be treated as he would wish to be treated, as one would wish his children to be treated. And the heart of the question is whether all Americans
first off, I started with the Civil Rights Movement, and I really wanted to touch on that topic because I felt like everybody could really relate to it because it changed America so much. And I started writing my rap on the civil rights, and I felt like there was something missing, so I needed to put more into it. So I decided to include like all the events leading up to the civil rights movement, like slavery, the secession, the Civil War, and stuff like that. But still, after that, I still felt like there was something missing, so I decided to put women's rights into it. And I finally came up with all that, and I really liked it.
Can you talk about why you chose this format to convey the importance of the topic and what exactly the importance of the topic has to do with the National History Day theme?
Well, I chose to do the rap because when you're rapping, it's just like telling a story, except you're rhyming it and you're putting, rhythm to it. And I felt that was a good way to really express what I was trying to say, because I love rapping to begin with. So I just figured I'd go ahead and pick, to rap about my topic. And so I wrote a rap on it. And I felt, that the civil rights was related to the History Day because it was a huge turning point in American history. Because, today would not be the same without the civil rights. Just would.
Talk to us about your sources.
My sources?
Yeah, what did you find interesting? What was the most useful?
Well, I did watch a lot of speeches of people that were actually in the civil rights movement, like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X and stuff like that. And I read a bunch of speeches and stuff like that. And I read books about them and stuff like that. And basically just tried to get as close to people who were actually in the civil rights movement, so I could actually get accurate information.
Putting together a performance has its challenges, has its problems, and so I'd like to know what your challenges were, what you had to overcome, and how you met those challenges and overcame them.
Well, my first obstacle was I had to find a beat that matched the tone of the song, and my second biggest obstacle was most definitely coming up with the ideas for the verses. What I was going to talk about, how I was going to say it, and just how I was going to put the song together. I overcame those obstacles by really just researching a lot. Really taking the time, stopping. Does this sound good? Does this sound good? Put a lot of time into it to make it sound good.
How did you choose that particular, the one that you use almost as like a chorus? How did you decide on that and why did you pick it?
Well, I wanted to do a course, related to civil rights and stuff that kind of covers all of it. And I stumbled across John F. Kennedy's civil rights speech. And I was listening to it, I was like, there's a lot of stuff in here that I could use. So I took it and I cut parts of it out and put it together and came up with the chorus of John F. Kennedy saying his speech, except it's clips. Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything else that you would like to convey to us about what you learned, the experience of putting this together? Anything that we haven't covered, that you haven't covered? Anything surprising that you found?
No, I think we got it.